Let's go live. Hello and welcome, and hello. This is Total Spotfest. As you see, Jamie is with me. We have one Mr. Austin Reddick. I am JJ Brownlee, and of course, we have a special guest again this week. Please welcome an old friend of Total Spotfest. Has been on here. He subbed in for us a few times. He's hopped in a couple times as well. Now a part of the Fountain City Pro ownership team here in Kansas City, Mr. Michael Reed.
Hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's a little weird being not a more official capacity. I mean, it's not like super official, but yeah, like in a different capacity. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. We'll see how this goes.
Definitely here, and I do apologize if I got a little pop-ups here. I'm just trying to make sure we have everybody balanced on the sound. But how are we doing, Michael? Thank you for hopping in, though. How you doing, man?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm doing good. I'm excited. We are at this point we are less than 48 hours away from doors opening for Bombs Over Ball, our second event. So we're excited and looking forward to putting on a good show for y'all.
Very good, very good. Jamie, Austin, how has your week's been?
Shitty.
Yeah,
Jamie,
you know what?
Yeah.
Mine's been 18,000
better than
softball things to do. So
mine's been better than Jamie's. Although I did spend Monday doom watching the Weather Channel and dreading the tornado apocalypse, only to get 10 minutes of rain here in Wichita. So it's been an interesting week so far.
Yeah, we got more than you did. I remember as I was watching the Weather Channel too, and I go, "Oh God, man, Austin and Heidi are going to get hammered." And then the entire storm just like, Wichita, nah, fuck it. We're going to go right around.
Yeah. I am no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure we are under the protection of some kind of wizard because that shit just like split and went around and regrouped to hammer y'all on the other side.
Yeah, Weather Channel has somebody posted up like in downtown or like in an area of Wichita, and he goes, "There's nothing."
I had the Weather Channel on all day. Yeah, they were hanging out in downtown Wichita, like we're just waiting. It's coming. It's going to be this huge storm. But even the weather knows not to mess with Austin Reddick, so I sent that shit y'all's way.
Funny story though.
Thanks.
It came close to Jamie. I texted him like at midnight because I saw the news that like 2 blocks from your house, wasn't it, Jamie? There was like a bunch of trees that were up, like covering the.
Yeah. When you say 2 blocks, you mean 30 feet from my house. So that was fun. Yeah. One of our entrances was completely blocked. The other entrance, somehow, some way, that it like the tree broke going with the street, which was like amazing. I'm like, thank you, Jeebus, you know. And yeah, so lucked out there, but no damage to any of my property. So life's good. Just the mental anguish of having children and dogs and thunderstorms. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and me and Mike, we live in that Northland area. It's like we were talking about this before you guys hopped on here. It didn't really hit us too hard, but we both live in that area because Jamie, where you live, is like suburb. You know, you don't have like a ton of trees in your backyard or stuff like that, right? And I don't know how it is for you down in Wichita, Austin, but we got like old big ass trees all over the damn place up by us. So every time a storm comes, I'm just like, oh shit.
We have like big ass old trees all over town, like the little town right outside of Wichita, but none in our yard directly. I guess the previous owner just not a fan of trees for some reason. Okay. But it's nice when those big windstorms and thunderstorms roll through because I ain't got shit dropping on my roof of my car.
That must be nice. Well,
yeah, dude, we got pounded like Drake by Kendrick Lamar, dude. It was like, we got worked. We got worked. There you go.
Well,
one pop culture reference. You are welcome.
Hey, I guarantee you that won't be the only one we have. Well, quick little programming note for everybody joining us. First of all, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you guys joining us. If this is your first time here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button while you're down there. It helps us out quite a bit. And you want to make sure you hit that little bell icon to know when we go live because we will have another live show coming up in a couple days. We're going to be doing the pre-show for Fountain City. But we'll give you guys a quick little programming note for tonight. So we're going to talk about Fountain City. That is why Michael's decided to giving us some of his time to hop in here. And then we're going to take a quick little break because Mike does have to run. He has some other things he has to attend to, and we're going to get back, just the three of us. So we'll have a real quick minute or two lull there in the middle. Don't be alarmed, but we're going to take a quick little break after we talk about Bombs Over Ball. Nobody wanted to.
Oh yeah, brother. That's like, yeah, that was great.
I was ready for a promo to cut in and like some sort of graphics or something. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, you want some sort of graphics? You mean?
Yeah.
Well, Michael, I have some graphics here. Why don't you talk a little bit about the second Fountain City Pro promotion, Bombs Over Ball?
Yeah. So Bombs Over Ball is taking place this Friday, May 10th, from the Ball Event Center in Olathe, Kansas. It's our second event, and I don't know where do we want to start. Like I'm genuinely excited just because the first one was the first one. Like that's your I don't know what euphemism you want to use. Like it's your first time. You're just kind of learning, going along.
Well, there's euphemisms to be had there.
Exactly. So for this second one, I think we're at least the ring stuff's figured out. For those of you that were in attendance for Light It Up, we had bought a brand new ring. We'd ordered it in a year in advance, and it got to us 2 days before the show started. So we hadn't had a chance to assemble the boards or test anything yet until it was literally like a live fire test. Getting it set up there at Ball Event Center. So we had some challenges before the show, but I think once we got through those and the show kicked off, it was a fun ride for the rest of the night. So we're looking forward to having everything kind of streamlined and optimized and running a tighter ship for the second event. So it's a learning experience, folks. You're gonna start an indie promotion. It's not gonna be smooth sailing from the jump. You're just gonna have to kind of learn the hard way. So we've certainly done that so far.
You got kicked out of the nest, dude, and you guys flew. Oh man.
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah.
It
Hey, it went off, man. I'm telling you, we were minutes away from thinking that the ring was not gonna assemble properly, and we got it figured out, and it worked, and we had an amazing time afterwards. So
Yeah, I know, Jamie and I were treading water there on the pre-show for a while. We're just like, the door's opening sometime soon.
It was tense. I don't know how much we've really
No
talked
clue.
about this, but it was tense there for a little bit.
Jamie cut a promo on the candy bar.
Yes, I did. I cut a promo on the candy bar. I don't know if you were able to go back and listen to that. But like, yeah, they got all sorts of stuff. They got all these Gatorades. I was like, boom, boom, boom. Just listing off everything I could see just out of the corner of my eye. Like I was trying to stretch for us.
I just stopped and just looked at him and like, go. Why not?
Yeah, hey.
There will be more food options this time around.
Oh,
A
very
little-
nice.
A little guys snacks action.
Yeah, we didn't forget the guys. So
Hell yeah.
that was not finalized by the time the first show ran off. We were still our lawyers and their lawyers were having to exchange contracts back and forth. So we didn't have all that ironed out in time. So that's why the concessions was like a quick run to Sam's or Costco to get some stuff. But yeah, this time guys snacks will be there. And I think we've got a couple other vendors that are going to be selling food or providing food. I need to confirm that. So I know there will be more food options this time. That I do know.
Food. Hey, you're talking a couple big boys up here on top, but food options are always good. All right.
Hey, if I just got a small bag of the Joe's fry seasoning from Guys Snacks, I'd be a very happy man. And then I would cut a promo on here for free, putting it over because I love it that much.
So guys,
It's
if you're
good.
Free of
listening,
charge,
you
Guys
need to say-
Snacks.
Now, one member of this dais, of course, has been around pro wrestling a little more intimately than the others here. So I know we talked a little bit after the last show here, but now that they've come and gone, and second show is coming up here soon. You do have some knowledge of the business quite a bit, Austin, and knowledge of the ownership team, including our good friend Michael here. So can you talk a little bit? I mean, you were the least worried of anybody, I remember, at that last show about. You're like, I've seen worse.
Oh, absolutely. I have seen so many shows from promotions that had already been running for a while. It was still just a shit show going in. But something like that, I can't remember. I think it was Hartzell I was talking to. I was like, man, this is going to be the show where in like a year you look back and be like, remember the first show? The ring wasn't even ready until an hour after it was supposed to start. But we still needed to bring in more chairs to accommodate all the people that came to watch the show. And it was a great show. I'm like, you got to get that thing out of the way. Whatever it is, something's going to go wrong. But then it goes right and you're good from there. So yeah, like I wasn't sweating it. I saw the talent on that card. I saw the work y'all put into drawing a house. I knew it was going to be fine once it got started, and it damn sure was.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a great show.
It's hard because I think one of the things when you're a new promotion, it was actually really neat. Before we started recording here, I was on a Twitter Spaces that Gabe Sapolsky was hosting with some other indie promotions. We were all talking about challenges and different things to help kind of grow our companies. And one of the things that I talked about was like building trust with your audience and building trust with the talent. And, having talent who had never heard of us, kind of taking a leap of faith to come and be on our show. And then their first impression is seeing us like, whipping the saw out to cut the board. Man, we were just, as an ownership group, we were all sitting there just like, oh man, our teeth could not have been clenched harder. But it's also it's like Austin said, it's a story that a while from now we will all laugh about. I think the people that were there, while it was not as memorable as like the Lights Out and Agnes, like for us it is going to be that story of like you said, like remember when we had to like get a saw and cut the boards with people sitting in the seats watching this whole thing, which I was kind of excited about that because like I really want to be kind of transparent as an owner and as a brand and just kind of be real with people. And I like that they got to see a little bit of how the sausage was made. To just see that, there's a lot of effort that goes into running these shows. The sacrifices that the talent make, to come to these events and to put on these shows and all the people that it takes to run an event like this. I think it's when you're selling a product, you have to make it look so easy and you have to make it seem like it's so easy. And
Right.
a lot of times it's not. It's really not easy. So I, as tense and as panicky as it was, there was this calm of like, I'm just glad they see this. Like, but shout out to Hartzell and shout out to the talent who kept the crowd hyped. They waited like a good hour and a half, but they were so fired up by the time they sat down. That could have turned on a dime. And our fans just stuck through it and were fired up from the jump. So it was awesome. Like it is motivated us to continue, to keep this train going. Like that, to keep that momentum going. It was fantastic.
Well, I think we'll have to get you and Chase together with us sometime. Maybe like the anniversary, right? Look back on it, talk about some of the funny stuff. The creative geometry used to get your turnbuckles assembled with one zip tie per turnbuckle. Me and the other big dude that was up there, we had a good system. We got it anyway. Good stories abound and all that stuff.
We found the box after the fact that had the turnbuckle covers and all the ropes and all that stuff in there.
Of course you did. That's how it goes.
Somebody just opened the box and set it aside somewhere.
But for those of you interested, Mike, I do want to talk about the card because a lot of things are in motion here. You talk about guys coming back into the fold, Kansas City Wrestling. We have a beautiful championship belt that we got to give away at some point in time, and you guys are starting all that. And a big headline you probably saw on the flyer here. By the way, I pulled this flyer off of your Twitter. It is Friday, May 10th, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you watching here, Friday, May 10th.
Let me put a wrong date. I'm the OCD one
Friday.
of the group. I'm the one that does the the line readings and goes over. I'm the spelling
You're the
nerd.
proofreader.
Yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. But not everything goes across my desk before it goes out. That's kind of how we are in this social media age. So
Friday, y'all. I literally just saw that. I was like, oh crap, I gotta make sure to clear that up. All right, well, so let's talk about the card a little bit here, and you can start wherever you want to start.
Well, I mean, you guys are going to be there. Where do you want to start? Where are your questions?
Well, let's start with.
I'll tell you where I want to start. I'll tell you what my question is.
Yeah, what you got, Austin?
Why are you having a tournament without Austin Reddick in it?
What, bro?
Dude,
you're in the office. You got Paul. Can you get Austin Reddick a tournament match for Friday night?
You know what?
If not, I will block you out right now.
Yeah, I will take my power of authority to announce. Yeah, here we are going to have a match that we have not announced yet, but we are going to be adding an additional tournament match, and Mr. Austin Reddick is going to be in that match.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Life lesson, kids. You don't get what you don't ask for.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right. That's awesome.
And that, my friends, is how booking works.
I want a match.
You get on a live podcast and you corner the promoter and you force him to put you in a match.
That's how I used to do it.
Hey, you got to ask, man. You don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So,
JJ, if we're allowed to talk, hopefully it's okay. I do have some questions myself.
No.
I would like to ask you. And actually, we're going to start with Big Rob's because Big Rob's in the chat. Want to know about the Scott Tyler rumors, man. I tried to quell it with his too much spray tan, but there are other things going on with Mr. Luke Langley.
I'm trying to think. I mean, Scott Tyler, Scott Tyler and Luke Langley, I think that's an interesting matchup. I just want to say that's not. I never would have put those two together. But yeah, that's the beauty of those scramble matches for you. Sometimes you get something out of it that you weren't anticipating, and I will admit I was not as familiar with Scott Tyler before our first show.
Yeah.
Chase and Josh, two of our other owners, have done a fantastic job of really getting to know a lot of these local indie promotions and getting to find those diamonds in the rough, those folks that are can be overlooked. I think Scott is kind of new to the scene here locally. Pardon me, the allergies are getting to me, so I'm sniffling here. That's on me.
Man. It's that time of year.
But it was a surprise to me. Like Luke Langley, we're all familiar with. We're here. We're Journey Pro fans, and nobody. I don't think anybody will ever forget Luke Langley. Super kicking our good friend Walter. So strongly that they were able to turn it into a T-shirt.
I have one.
Walter,
I
plan on wearing that shirt on Friday.
I didn't, and I'm mad that I didn't. I need to see. I don't think he has any more, but man, I want one of those shirts. So I'm jealous that you guys have it. But Luke is somebody who was making a name for himself there in Journey Pro, towards the end there, and he was somebody that was easily on our radar. I don't think you can run a show in Kansas City without going, talking to Luke Langley first. Like I think he is a mainstay around here, and he's a guy that he's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to go places, and the proof there is taking on the services of one Greg Jovi and being a new addition to Greg Jovi's family. I think Luke saw an opportunity and he capitalized on it, and that's something we can't ignore. And Scott Tyler is somebody else who's trying to make a name for himself, and just this is one of those cool opportunities that we really like at Fountain City, is to take somebody that you're familiar with, put them against somebody that's new and up and coming, and let them make magic together. So I definitely wish Scott Tyler the best of luck against Luke Langley, because Luke is a force to be reckoned
You
with.
didn't actually answer the question though. How much tan is too much tan?
I don't think there is such a thing as too much tan. Have you seen? I'm trying to think of a good example of that. Like I can't even think of one right now. But
I mean, I've
yeah,
seen it.
I don't know if there's.
I've seen it be in the Elite episode of Jamie where there definitely was too much tan.
Oh, for sure. And like MJF with the brown hand, like the like, tan skin and the super dark hands. Come on, man.
No, you're either too tan, or you're too not tan enough. It's hard to find what the line is. So you just kind of gotta let people ride with it.
How about this, Austin? What's too much tan?
I don't think there's such a thing as too much tan, because pro wrestling has a long storied history of ridiculously tan people.
Brother.
I think the only too much tan was that brief period in the middle 2000s when WWE jumped to HD cameras, and like Matt Hardy and Shawn Michaels spray tans, you could see it running all over the place.
Oh,
that might be too much tan, but that's more of an application issue than an actual color issue. I think outside of that, man, you always looked more jacked the darker you are. So like there really isn't too much tan.
That's true.
No, I feel like if you body slam somebody and they leave like a tan imprint on the mat, that's probably too much. I'll give you that one. I have seen that before.
We gotta do a show where we have everyone back doing like the professional bodybuilder style, where they literally like roll it on you with a paint roller, and just like the entire roster is like 8 shades darker for one night. But we never actually acknowledge it or explain why. That's the kind of things I would book, and that's why people don't let me book anymore.
Oh, if you did that to Stormy Renee, that would be literally the greatest thing of all time.
Oh my god!
I will pay for her to get a spray tan if she's down, just because I think it'd be hilarious if she was randomly super tan one show and then never again.
Yeah.
I'll hit her up about that.
Be like, listen, it's a bit, and here on this podcast, we are, Jamie, committed to the bit.
Damn Skippy, we are.
So
well, that's actually a nice segue. Why don't we go right into Only Friends?
Yeah, and I've got the card. I've got it pulled up on my phone right in front of me here, just to kind of keep things going. I really want to shout out Logan Knight and Stormy Renee. Only Friends at tag team, like they wanted to form that tag team when they heard we were starting up. Like that was one of the first ideas that was presented to us was them being a intergender tag team, because we don't get a lot of those around here. So that was awesome. Like I really think that's something that warmed my heart. Like that was really cool for them to want to debut with us, and I am so happy for them. I'm so excited to see where they go. That was a very tough first match to take on Laney Luck and GPA. I mean, they're one of the best, tag teams on the indies, and being a married couple at that, like there's a chemistry there that is
they're
hard
married?
to.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, exactly right. There wasn't enough PDA from them, so I mean, I think Austin can tell you, like tagging with your spouse, it's a special chemistry there, I would think.
They usually beat each other up, but still.
I have literally eliminated Heidi Howitzer from every battle royal we've been in together without fail.
That's only fair.
I team up with her to throw someone out, and then as soon as she's not looking, I toss her ass over the top rope. That's love, baby.
As you
Golf
should.
clap there. So we got Only Friends back again this for this particular month. Yes.
Yeah, and I think we've I always say card subject to change. Let me just preface that if somebody comes on Friday, but I think right now they're taking on the main attraction, which again is another couple guys I'm not familiar with. Tobias Storm is somebody that Josh and Chase have raved about. So I'm excited to see
Yeah.
another cool tag team. I will say this. I don't know if anybody really noticed, but at our first show, we only really had like 6 matches. So a lot of indie shows you go to have 9, 10, maybe a dozen matches if you include like the pre-show. And that's awesome. You get a lot of talent on the card and you get your money's worth. I think for us, it gives us an opportunity with fewer matches to have, more tag teams. I feel like you just don't see enough tag teams on the indies, and I love tag teams. I think that it opens up so many opportunities for just cool storytelling moments in a match. Like it's just a lot of cool things can happen. Like the more pieces on the board, the more plays you can make. So that being said, you know you've got 2 guys in the Realist and Tobias Storm who are really big on their own. Putting them together in a tag team, just like we had with technical difficulties on the first show. Raheem and Moses are 2 guys that could easily have been in our tournament. But just the opportunity. They're such a good tag team, but they're so good, by themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's kind of the same thing we have going on here. So I'm excited to see these guys because I'm not as familiar with them. But Only Friends, it's they're new. They're a new tag team, and sometimes you got to kind of take your
good.
lump.
It's good to see some different stuff.
But
man, most definitely.
They're going to be a Fountain City staple, I think, for as long as they want to be.
And Jamie, they have a new fire T-shirt. The promise is going to be sold on Friday.
Yeah, well, my daughters are going to have their Stormy Renee shirts that they bought because they're committed to supporting the local wrestlers and support your local wrestlers. First and foremost, buy their merch. Damn it. Even if they're on this show, I'm still buying their merch because I love them that much.
I think our merch table was pretty packed there for a little bit.
Dude,
during intermission and after intermission, I was really because I've been to some indie shows where you just don't see a lot of people at the merch table. So I definitely think our the Fountain City faithful they tend to show up for their wrestlers. So I hope that continues.
So I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Since we're talking tag teams and you love tag team wrestling so much, are we going to see some tag team championships? And if we are going to see tag team championships, I assume there's going to be a tournament. And is Austin Reddick and Tommy Tuga going to be in said tournament?
We can't have the whole promotion be just tournament match after tournament match after tournament match. I would say stay tuned. We love tag teams, and I think it's only fair that tag teams should have something to fight for besides just pride.
Tag team double elimination battle royal sounds good.
Yes. I would love to see tag belts. I think that's something we've discussed. It's one of those things that we just didn't want to put too much on our plate to start. So, our single championship tournament I think is gonna take us through this year quite a bit, and after that we'll see what happens. I would love to see some tag titles, and definitely let the other members of the Fountain City ownership group know that you would also love to see tag titles.
I would love to see tag titles, but I think it's time to innovate the pro wrestling game. Everyone's always done 2 matching belts. It's a staple. It works. But what about one giant belt that can fit around 2 people?
Ooh, I like that.
Changing the game. We're innovating here.
See, I want to do the where like you get those friendship necklaces where it's like a heart, but it's kind of like cracked down the middle. Like that's what I want our tag belts to do. Like I just want like half a tag belt, and then you have to put them together to make like a Voltron super belt.
Hell yeah!
They come together to make a super belt. It's like Voltron.
So you guys are gonna get a belt. You're gonna get a small robot cat. That cat's gonna transform slightly, and you combine it with another cat to make a larger cat, and that cat is the championship belt.
Well, we gotta have something for factions. I mean, once we have like factions with like 5 or 6 people in it, then that's when we'll have the Voltron belt.
I'm gonna throw this
You're
out
turning
there
it-
now.
Turning Tony Khan over here all of a sudden with those belts. So just slow down.
So there's
Hey,
me
man.
with I always want belts. So there's
Yeah.
a secondary belt that I am dying to see. It's an old belt that hasn't been around since the 1980s. A submission belt.
Of course you do.
Didn't
And
Taz
let me
have one?
guess what the image on the front of that belt would be.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a lion tamer, but obviously that's the most glorious of all the submissions. But you know like Mike, you also know that if I see one live in person for a tap out, I'm never yelling it again.
So-
Like it's
so
true.
that's
I
the
already
move.
have another move picked out that's not even a submission. But
You know, we're always looking for sponsors, and you know, you can sponsor an individual wrestler, and something tells me if you want to, you know, sponsor a wrestler and demand a lion tamer out of them for it, you know, business
That
is
almost
business.
feels
I
like
can't
cheating,
stop
though.
that.
And even
Right, is it though?
the person who sat next to him for the past, I don't know, decade or whatever it's been, you know, at wrestling shows, I'm the one saying that feels like cheating. That feels like a bit much, right? You
I
know?
feel like we've seen, but I mean, I've been at shows with you guys where we've seen lion tamers.
Not
I don't think it
for
was-
never
it didn't
for a
finish-
win though.
That's true.
He
Never
needs it
saw them.
for the victory. For
No
the
tap.
Go have that copyrighted though. I feel like that's something he would have copyrighted. Like,
He's
I mean,
learning
would we
to
get
right
in
now.
trouble if that happened?
let's
He is learning.
come-
Somebody's got to learn it from him.
Let's bring it back here because you mentioned, okay, we're talking about titles, and you do have a title that you are putting in here, and you did make an announcement that one of us here, spoiler, not me or Jamie, is going to be in that tournament here. But,
Not me either. You know,
Not you either.
I did-
naturally,
I didn't pull that move.
So
I'm
Austin
entering the
is gonna
tournament
be-
for all of us.
yeah, no pressure. All right, but so Austin is going to be in that tournament against an unnamed opponent as of right now, and you have a few other matches on the card as well for the tournament.
Let me. If you feel like I should have this off the top of my head, but I really
Well,
don't.
I do know that there is a match also involving the same household where Austin is right now is going to be involved twice. for that.
Yeah. So that was originally like one of our main event matches because we were bringing in, of course, we've got Heidi Howitzer taking on Camaro Jackson, and then KLD was originally supposed to be part of that
Extra
triple threat
beef.
match. So,
Extra
unfortunately, KLD suffered an injury and had to
Yeah.
bow out. So,
Get better,
but,
KLD.
yeah, we're wishing the best for him. We will have him back at some point, no doubt. So that turned into just a one-on-one match, and I was really excited because like Camaro Jackson put out there on Twitter today that he and Heidi have been wanting a one-on-one match, and they're finally getting it. And like that's something that's very dear to me. Is I want wrestlers to come to Fountain City and have the type of matches that they want to have. Like I think it's one thing for wrestlers to come in and, you know, for us to say you're going to wrestle this person, you know, they'll do that. But I also think it's really cool for them to say like, hey, I want to wrestle this person, and we can say, yeah, let's make that happen. You know, let's make those dream matches come true. Like that's what because that passion comes out, that it just amps up the energy level to, you know, the next stage, and I'm excited to see that match. I really think I mean, you don't sleep on a Heidi Howitzer match at all, period. Like you just don't. But her, you know, she taking on Camaro, like it's gonna be a lot of loud noises in that match. It's gonna be a lot of loud hits, a lot of slams, a lot of screaming. It's gonna be like Jurassic
Children
Park in there.
crying. And,
Yeah. So, but to hear him say that, you know, it warmed my heart. Like that's why we're doing this. So, I'm really, really excited for that match. I think for all the other, you know, not to discredit anybody else's match, but like that, I think that one's gonna surprise people. I really do.
Well, that's 3 matches for the tournament then, Jamie. So you got Austin versus the
TBD.
unnamed person.
Unknown wrestler.
It might be
Heidi-
Jamie. We'll find out on Friday.
It could be me. He could finally punch me in the face like he's been wanting to do since he's been on this show.
And he could do
Nah,
a
man, I'll
lion
put your ass
tamer,
in a
and then
lion
right
tamer.
before you tap out, take it off. Just like
I'm
know
gonna put him
what?
in the lion tamer right before he taps. I'm gonna turn him back over and pin him just so he doesn't get the tap to the lion tamer.
That happened
You
to
know
Jamie
how
once.
great that would be. The trolling level would be so great on that.
You almost did.
Yeah.
But we got Heidi versus Camaro, and then we got Tyler
Tyler.
versus Luke Langley. So those are the only 3 for the tournament, right, Mike?
In the triple threat for the tournament too.
Yeah. You got Gary J, Anakin Murphy.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about it. God.
And all steel Jay Fowler,
Yeah, man, Jay Fowler.
the tap out king.
If y'all haven't watched our first event on YouTube, go to YouTube right now, type in Fountain City Pro and watch Light It
Good
Up,
show.
and go to that main event match between Jay Fowler and Camaro Jackson, because the crowd was losing its mind during that match. There was
Thank you, Chase.
older woman who
Chase is classified in the chat there. Scott Tyler, Luke Langley is not a tournament match. I obviously don't have the card in front of me, and
right.
I'm making things up as I go. Thank you, Chase.
You're just trying to make all the matches tournament matches. See, I'm telling you guys, we've got to have room for other types of matches.
We had a wrestler literally like get himself booked on this show. Okay, so I'm trying to make everything a tournament match. Let's make it the most
we're a new
complicated
promotion
tournament.
here. We're flying by the seat of our pants. Come on now.
Let's go.
Langley is a first round bye. Thank you, Chase. Okay,
that's correct. That's correct, because he won the our Fountain City Invitational.
So triple threat match we were talking about.
And I did want to. Well, I'll get to that when we talk about the guys match. So, but yeah, we're talking about we've moved on to the triple threat now. Gary J, Anakin Murphy. Yeah. So, yeah, Fowler, man. What is there to say about Jay Fowler at this point? That dude, for one, him and Captain Midnight cannot pronounce our promotion name correctly, and it's driving me insane. I have gotten in Captain Midnight's face about it, and he has called me a dweeb. So that's where that stands. But yeah, I didn't realize how little the Kansas City audience has seen Anakin Murphy. I think they were kind of surprised when he came out in that scramble, match at Light It Up.
Okay.
And he reminds me of like a Jeff Hardy. I'm trying to think of who else. He's a dude who he wrestles with reckless abandon. Like he has no regard for his own life. Darby
1, 2,
Allin.
3
That's who I was
kid.
trying to think.
Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Gary J. Jr.
Yes, he is just, his body is a weapon, and he doesn't care how he uses it. He's just gonna use it. But he's so likable too. Like his entrance music, having the audience. I've been at an Anarchy show where the audience sang that whole song with him. I actually had to pull it up on YouTube this week just to kind of get the lyrics down.
What?
Because I'm gonna try to sing one with it. I'm not a big My Chemical Romance fan. Like,
Well,
nothing against
being
him. I
with us,
heard
Mike. It was a pleasure having you on tonight.
I'm not either, so I'm right there with you, dude. Like,
have
only know one of their
so
songs.
goddamn good. So
I have
good.
I have harder tastes. Like, no offense to any My Chemical Romance fans. If that's your style, that's awesome. I just tend to listen to harder, angrier stuff.
No emo phase for Mike. I got it. All right.
No, we'll pass that. But
he's an electric callboy kind of guy.
So, a little peek behind the curtain, I will just say Gary J wanted an opportunity to take on Anakin Murphy. And we in the ownership group wanted to make that happen for him because he's Gary fucking J. And so we said, hey, if you're in the tournament, Anakin deserves to be in the tournament too. Let's make this happen. So I think it's going to be interesting because our Gary and Anakin, who are kind of St. Louis staples over there, are they going to be able to work together? Because Jay Fowler, I mean, he was in our main event for a reason. That dude, I could easily see him winning this tournament. I could easily see anybody winning this tournament, but Jay Fowler is somebody who, it's crazy how much he was loved and adored in those older Journey Pro days, and to see where he is now, to see how angry a wrestler he is, to see how violent a wrestler he is. This is a dude who put hands on one of our officials, and believe me, we've not forgotten that, and we will be keeping an eye on that going forward.
Oh, Nick
But,
Chin's been clapping at Guthrie too.
Yes.
We
So,
get a
trust
Nick
me.
Chin Guthrie match.
Man, we can't be putting referee like we've got so many wrestlers as it is. Now you want us to have referees wrestling? Come on,
Austin,
man.
make the call. Make the call. Should we have a referee versus the manager
A
match?
tag match. Make it a tag match. So he has somebody do all the work for him, and then he comes in and like
Guthrie's-
hits a stunner,
Guthrie's a man.
gets the win.
No, if you're gonna do it, you gotta
doesn't.
whole ass it, and you just gotta do the one-on-one. It's not something you want to do all the time, but every once in a while it works. One of my favorite matches of all time is from way back in the early 90s, and it's Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette fighting each other on a WCW pay-per-view. I don't even remember which one.
Oh man, I remember
But
that.
when you do it for the right reason with the right guys, it works. So I would be 100% on board with that.
Man,
To be determined, ladies and gentlemen. To be determined. Not
I
on
don't
this
know.
card. It's
That-
not on this card.
Do we really want to see Captain Midnight like in that capacity? I think.
Do I want to see
he
Nick Chin give
operates-
Captain Guthrie a rock bottom? Yes, I do.
I will pay. How about this? I will sponsor to get that lightsaber right there.
We'll have to see if Nick Chin can do a lion tamer.
Oh, we
That
are
dude-
off the rails, guys.
Yeah, you know what? That's the way Fountain City rolls, man. It'd be boring otherwise.
So I think we got 2 more matches left to talk about, right? So we should have you opened up with Guy Chips, and then we kind of skated it. So let's
Then
get
we ran
back
away
to
from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guys Snacks Invitational. I do want to clarify going forward, and this was what I was thinking about earlier. We're not going to call them scrambles. They are going to be elimination style matches going forward.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what we did
Nice.
with the Fountain City Invitational. After some
Love good
discussion,
elimination match.
we wanted to evoke the feeling of those scramble matches the Journey Pro had, but we wanted to put our own flavor to it. So this is us kind of sprinkling the Joe's Kansas City seasoning on our matches by making them elimination style. I think that gives everybody a fair shot. You're not caught off guard by that one, pin when you were knocked out of the ring or something. Like everybody gets a fair chance at this. So I want to start off talking about this match by saying Shaza McKenzie. I'm so fucking excited we have her on this card. I have been a fan of hers for a long time. Got to first see her at a Journey Pro show. Got to see her a couple times now in St. Louis Anarchy. A world-renowned athlete. Obviously has just been doing this for a long time now, and is just one of the most amazing people I've seen at a show. She's always at the merch table, cheering on the match that's going on in front of her. Especially like she has a friend or somebody in the match, like she's rooting for. But she's always supportive of the talent. She is somebody that I think you kind of have to see her and meet her to appreciate how awesome she is. Like I think she's an amazing talent. But
Certified deathmatch wrestler too.
Yeah, but she's just an amazing human being. So like I'm so thrilled that we were able to get her on this card. I hope we get to have her on our shows again in the future. Like this is awesome. She just puts some credibility on her matches that I think that just comes with being like a veteran presence like that. She has some current history going on with Nixie XS, who's also in this match. Nixie is, another up and comer, who is, obviously newer to the Kansas City area, but she's been doing her thing, in St. Louis and even in Memphis. I learned tonight she was on like some Memphis cards.
She's regularly in Memphis, actually.
Yeah.
She does quite a few.
she was here, as part of Grindhouse for our first show, supporting Davey Vega, and then being there with the O'Neills. So just getting a chance to kind of put her in the ring. She wanted to wrestle, so we're like, let's do this. We're gonna put her in there. Ashlyn Alexander is another person coming over from St. Louis who I'm delighted to have over here. I had a chance to see her do some matches in Anarchy. She's had a kind of a long running feud over there with Maddie Monarch. And once she heard we were up and running, she's like, "Why am I not wrestling over there yet?" And we said, "Okay."
Done.
kind of where it's at. So yeah, to kind of bring her in. I think these matches are a great way to kind of introduce new talent to our fan base.
Oh yeah.
It's a chance for you to get to see them kind of just do their stuff, and again, like with us doing the elimination style, it's kind of made the best person win. Like there's no surprises, there's no, it's as fair as I think we can make that kind of match. So, but for Ashlyn, I'm really excited to kind of see her over here. She's been tearing it up over in Anarchy, for sure. I will not. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's a lot of other fellas that are in this match that I've not had the pleasure of seeing yet. Zach Abstract and like Jackson King, for example. This will be my introduction to them. So
That's exciting.
I'm really looking forward. That's awesome. Like if there's a I have been to wrestling shows where like there's a lot of names on the card I'm not familiar with, and then I've been at cards where I know everybody on the card. So, um, you get a little bit of everything, but that surprise of like, let's see what this person can do. So, I know Chase is probably sitting here like cursing at me for not knowing all the time, but like I said, he and
Well, he
Josh
hasn't
have done such
commented
an
in
amazing
chat
job.
yet about that, but you might be getting a DM from him in about
I
5
probably will be, no doubt. So that's
Well, Jamie, there were some welcome surprises in the first Light It Up. It was definitely. And I think that they use that same sort of thing. The invitational match is a good place to do that. Remember,
And I know this is the Guys Snack and Invitational, but does this happen to be brought to you by the letter X? Like, so many of these wrestlers have X in their name. I don't know if you noticed that or
Where are
not.
you going?
I
with
didn't.
that?
But
I didn't.
Ashlyn Alexander, then Zach is spelled XAK. Jackson King with an X, and of course Nixie XS. She's got 2 X's. Like,
That's a good catch. No, I didn't
straight
notice
up
that.
thought you
But
were making
hey,
like a.
shout out to our X division. We got to build
your
our own,
X
right?
division. Yes.
See, if I'd have
Love
known that
it.
ahead of time, I would have gotten one of those old school NXT belts, one that has like the big X in the middle. I'd have had them fighting for that. So guys save the day, so they can fight over the
Guys for the dub.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Let's.
So I think we're just left with the main
Oh,
event.
yeah.
Yeah, so the Howlets and the O'Neills. Obviously, if you were at Light It Up, you know that the O'Neills came out to kind of attack Gary J after losing to Davey Vega in the Gateway Heritage title match, which again shout out to St. Louis Anarchy for allowing us to have that match on our card. And so, I was kind of surprised to see the Howlets. I'm telling you straight up, I had no idea the Howlets were gonna bust in like they did. Like they straight up busted in and ran straight for the ring. Like
That sounds like the house.
that, I was not ready for that. So I was losing my mind in the back just as much as everybody was out there. So yeah, I mean, like it's like Hoodie said, this is Howlet country. So if you're gonna poke the bear, you best get ready. The O'Neills and Grindhouse have been doing their thing over in St. Louis. Davey Vega wants to try to claim some sort of that Casey is part of his kingdom. I kind of disagree with that, but he's got the belt that has Kansas City on the belt. So until we crown our champion, he is kind of the de facto king of KC. So I guess he gets some claim to lay there. But looking forward to having our tournament kind of take that out of the equation.
Yeah. So we got basically his henchmen, more or less, right? You know,
Yes.
the O'Neill.
First time I saw him, I'm like, oh, it's a gingerbread man. Terrible, but like that's the first thing I thought of, man. I'm like, yeah, just shoot me now, but that's the first thing I thought was kind of funny. Think of the most wrong way possible.
The O'Neills will surprise you, I think. So, but man, Hoodie and Anaya are a challenge. Hoodie and Anaya have some issues going on right now. I would like to think that they will kind of
That's
step
brothers
up
for you. Hey,
in this moment.
shit
Yeah,
happens.
it happens. We'll see how that turns out. You would like to think that the veteran tag team has the advantage here in the Howlets, but man, when they're not on the same page, like that's a perfect opportunity for a team like the O'Neills to kind of, make their mark and put their stamp on our tag division. Like it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to this main event, and I'm looking forward to see how it turns out, because I think on paper everybody would just assume, the Howlets are going to run away with this, but they're not on the same page at all. So I would say anything could happen. We'll see how that goes.
Nice.
Any final questions we have? I know, other than who your opponent is, Austin. Austin, Jamie.
I'm gonna find out there. I'm just gonna walk to the ring and then just hit the first person that comes out after me.
I'll make sure that's not me.
Yeah.
And if it takes too long, I'll just go into the crowd and hit Jamie.
That's fair.
Everybody wins.
That's fair too.
Yeah.
I wanted to say
his daughters would love that.
I was at the Snake Saturday parade in the Northland, which for those of you who aren't in the Kansas City area, we have in the Northland we have a big St. Patrick's Day parade the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, because you always need who needs an excuse to drink, right? But myself and our ring announcer Mark Adams, we were lucky enough to run into former WWE Tag Team Champion Nicholas, which was just fucking nuts. Like I'm just at a random parade and there's Nicholas there. So
how old is Nicholas now?
I should have asked him his age.
He's got
some facial hair on him. Like
Isn't he like pretty tall really, now too?
Yes. Yeah. I need to I'll have to share the picture with you guys. Like we took a picture with him.
He's hit puberty, so he's got to be bigger than he was.
But he's probably still more over than Braun.
Oh,
deservedly so, sir. Deservedly so.
Hey, for like one solid week, Braun Strowman was the most over wrestler on the planet. It ended quickly, but for like 1 week, he was the hottest shit around.
So over.
And he just couldn't control the narrative, guys. Like that was. He had a choice to make, and he chose that one. So, in fact, I think Nicholas's tag belt. If you go to Donut King here in the Northland, that is, I think, it was a former WWE ref who runs.
Oh yeah, he's got like a whole bunch of.
Yeah, there's a whole chain of them. But I think that location they actually have Nicholas's tag belt there. Nice. So I need to go see it and get a picture with it.
That's cool.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
But all that's to say, Jamie. Anything can happen. Any given Friday, just have your boots ready. All I'm saying.
All right.
So what he's saying is, I might be wrestling Nicholas on Friday at Bombs on the Ball.
He very well could have.
I will beat up a teenager if it means I move on in the tournament. I don't care about that.
Dude, I'll throw Megan, because him and Megan got beef because Megan's our new pay-per-view champion.
And if you want to see that belt exchange hands, please join in on Fountain City Pros social media or right here on our YouTube channel for the pre-show. 5-ish. We don't have the exact time. Chase,
I got touch base with Chase on that one.
Yeah, Chase, you're in chat. I got to talk to you. You guys got to talk to me about that. We'll figure that out. But if you just subscribe, hit the little bell icon, you'll know when we go live here or on Fountain City Pros. So, any final thoughts? Anything you want to wrap? Because we do gotta. I know you gotta run, Mike, and we gotta get to talking about our regular weekly show stuff here in just a few minutes. But anything else you want to touch base on? Tickets are still available, right?
Yes. You can go to FountainCityPro.com. You can also, we've got links to that through all of our social medias. Most of those are
Links down
Fountain
below.
City Pro KC. Yeah, so hit us up. Tickets are still available. Bring a friend. One thing I want to say about Fountain City is you're gonna have a good time. Like whether you're an indie wrestling fan, whether you have no idea. I went to a place up here called the Man Cave and got my my hair cut and my beard trimmed and all cleaned up and was talking to the lady Amy, was a wonderful lady who kind of did this work, and she was an old school wrestling fan and was talking to me. She asked if the Edge was still wrestling. I had to talk to her about AEW and all sorts of stuff. But was talking to her about Fountain City and was kind of telling her the same things. Like, come out to a show, you're gonna have a good time. You may not know everybody, you may not have any idea what was going on, but you're gonna have an amazing good time. If Austin's on the card, you can't help but have a good time. Like
He
that
might
dude's
beat
gonna
you up.
go.
I
He
might.
might. If you're not having a good time, he will make sure he will feed the good time into you.
He's
And
the
that's
lad
that's the
Starfighter.
easy version. Don't let Heidi Howitzer not catch you having a good time because that's
Oh.
an infinitely worse punishment.
That will, yeah, she'll just pour beer on you. She just does that.
She'll waterboard you with beer. I've seen it.
I have too.
So
Not in
so
person.
it's
I want to see it in
that's
person.
I think that's the biggest message I want to
Yeah.
convey is if you want to have a good time, come to a Fountain City show. You will thoroughly enjoy yourself, and you're going to see the best that Kansas City has to offer against the best that the rest of the world has to offer. It's going to be. We're just getting started, folks. Like, if for
Mhm.
everybody that gets mad about being, the Chiefs having so many bandwagon fans, like if you want to get on at the start of something, now's the time to get on the Fountain City bandwagon. We're just getting started.
So one more time here, I'm gonna pull that flyer out for you guys. Again, Friday, not Saturday. Friday, this Friday, the 10th, at the Ball Event Center, Olathe, Kansas, 151st and I-35 for those of you familiar with Kansas City. If you can't make it to this, it's going to be like last time where it'll be rebroadcast later on after it's edited, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
these first few shows, our plan is to throw them up on YouTube, just to give the talent a chance to get their clips and be able to share out their work, and then just to kind of let everybody know who we are. So yeah, for the
So-
time being, usually about a week or so after, maybe a little longer, but yeah, we will be throwing those up on YouTube.
Follow their social media eventually down the road. I know Chase talked about this too. One day we can do live broadcast of the shows themselves. But if you can't make it, you're not going to miss out. We'll talk about it for sure. You can come join us again for the pre-show, approximately 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. But follow their social medias for the replay. Tickets, that QR code, you should be able to scan it if you're watching us on YouTube, or go to FountainCityPro.com to get your tickets.
Fantastic, guys! Thanks for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed this and look forward to coming on again the next time.
Oh yeah, brother. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody else,
Hey, Austin, thanks for asking for a match.
Hey, man. I know how the game works.
So what we have
Unless you're blind
learned
gamers
is that
now, so
if
it's all
you're
good.
if you're a wrestler, Jamie, you want a match and you want a specific match, you can corner the ownership of Fountain City Pro and get that.
On this show.
Only on this show.
Only
on this show.
So-
wrestlers
so
got
hit
to
us up.
come on to Total Spot Fest and ask for their match.
Yes.
All right. So we got to take a quick little break here. So everybody hang tight for like 60 seconds, 2 minutes. We'll be right back here. We're just going to change some screens around. Mike, thank you for coming on here again. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And we're back. I got to readjust us a little bit, but hey, we're back, guys.
We are live again.
Again. We're live again.
We're
Again.
all the way live.
And he did again. Again.
Who would have thought
Thunder
that,
fan.
doing an interview would help Austin get a booking?
Hey, you know what?
Sometimes you
It's
just
all
got
good.
politic, man.
Well, my
I
daddy
like
always
it.
said, answer's no unless you ask, right?
Yeah, we brought him on the show, and he couldn't say no because of the implication. And if you get that reference, you're my kind of people.
Well, so we're gonna have a good time again. One more time for those of you. Thank you for sticking around. Again, I know we had to switch over our scenes here, but if you haven't and you're going to be in the Kansas City area, you want to join us again Friday night. Doors at 6:00. Ball Event Center. Fantastic time. So be good times. But there's other wrestling going on, Jamie. We need to talk about.
Holy crap! There's been a lot of wrestling going on, and before we get into AEW, because I have a lot to say about AEW. I just want to say, for the record, putting everybody on notice.
Okay.
Shame on you, United States, because France just straight put us in the dirt. They buried us so hard with how great their crowd was.
I mean,
Uh-oh. I feel like somebody disagrees.
no.
I do disagree. Their crowd was fantastic, but you were talking apples to oranges here.
Okay.
Because it was the same thing when Backlash was in Puerto Rico last year. They were hot as shit too. If you do a pay-per-view from a place where they barely even get TV, because this wasn't even Paris. This was like 2 hours train ride outside of
It was
Paris.
Lyon.
Yeah, like if you have a big show in a place where you never visit, they are going to be into it the whole time. If you're running through Mobile, Alabama for the third time this year, they're going to be less excited. But not to undersell your point, that crowd was electric.
I mean, honestly, that pay-per-view was really damn good. Like,
Pay-per-
so here, or PLE, whatever. So here's okay. We've been talking about the Fed more and more, gentlemen, and I want to bring this up to you. Their live events, like their pay-per-views, are amazing. Their regular TV show is a lot of commercials, but man, those pay-per-views, they actually put on a great show. Now, I'm not saying it's better than AEW because I prefer pure wrestling, and I am more of an AEW guy in that aspect, but the wrestling that they've been putting on, the stories that they've been doing, very well done on their pay-per-views, maybe not their TV.
What they're killing with it is what we just talked about a little bit ago when Mike was on here talking about, going to a local independent show, right? You take somebody to a WWE show, a WWE pay-per-view, right? That's an experience, right? It used to be that was always the WrestleMania every year. That's why everybody, no matter what, you always watch WrestleMania, right? Because it's WrestleMania. Now it's almost every WWE pay-per-view. Like this was one of the best crowds I've ever seen. Literally singing along, making the camera jump, and the camera's bouncing during AJ Styles' entrance. That wasn't him shaking the ropes. That was the people just losing their ever-loving mind, and it makes it easy to bring in non-marks, which is kind of the point of WWE.
Yeah, if only they would make their weekly TV as good as they make their premium live events, it would be watchable all the time. I would
partly as good.
I would love
feel
to
good.
be excited to tune into Raw every Monday night. But every time I do it, they burn me. But their pay-per-view / premium live events, whatever you want to call them, I will always just call them pay-per-views. This was great. And I thought the undercard outshined the two title matches as well on this. Like, I thought it was still great top to bottom, but the way they opened the show, I messaged some of my friends that we were all watching it separately at our own residences. We were all happy to be watching at the same time. the way they started that was the most house show ass start to a pay-per-view ever. And I mean that in the best way possible. They just start brawling. Hey, you want to fight? We're going to make this a street fight instead. And the crowd loved every second of it. Right from that into one of the better women's triple threat matches that there's ever been. That triple threat got some time, and they got aggressive with some of those spots, and it was awesome top to bottom. The women's tag was really good too.
Jade Cargill's best match in WWE, of course.
Yeah. And I mean, she's still doing the same thing she was doing in AEW, but you don't need more out of Jade Cargill. Like, that's all she has to do, and it's great.
And smart to put her in a tag team title to start with, too.
Yeah, and put her with someone like Bianca that is plenty good enough to cover any weaknesses Jade has. Yeah. And then like the two title matches were still very good matches. But I think they definitely got outshined by the undercard on this one.
Couldn't agree more. Who do you think had the biggest pop of the night?
I thought KO and Orton.
That was pretty good.
But I mean, that might just been like the first pop I heard. So like that really stuck out and the crowd was just hot the rest of the night.
They did sing all of Orton's song in English.
That was dope.
That popped me more than anything else was they just kept singing it. And like, yeah, they knew every word in English. It was fantastic.
So I personally thought LA Knight, his pop was crazy. He is so over.
I mean, Cody's pop was big too, always.
Always. The whoa was pretty
The whoa was loud. AJ's pop was big.
They were just excited for and like that's the best crowds to wrestle from too. When they're just there to have a good time and they're into everything.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I will say though, now that we got the King and the Queen of the Ring going on here, there's a little bit more meat on the bones on Monday and Friday nights. I watched a couple of those matches this past Monday. Pretty solid. Of course, Io's match was great.
You see Sheamus's chest?
Yes. I mean, he's pretty pasty as it is. Speaking of man who could tan more.
I will say his chest didn't look as bad as Jericho's after wrestling Shibata last week.
No lies were told just then. Yeah. I mean, it did look like hamburger, but oof. Yeah. Honestly, dude, like SmackDown's where it's at. Like SmackDown's just, it's nice and tight, 2 hours. It's perfect.
There's just too much time to fill on Raw. Too much time to fill.
Raw is 3 hours and has the same amount of action that freaking SmackDown does, but they have like 10 times the commercials.
That's why I skim it. That's why I skim through it, right? If I'll pop in there, there's a match I want to watch. I'll watch the match and I'll go back to watching hockey or whatever else.
That's the biggest problem with Raw is like 3 hours is too long for a weekly TV show. Like 2 is fine. But at 3 hours, just so much of it is filler or just coming up with random shit for people to do week to week to flesh out your 3 hours that it's too much. 2, you got to make some tougher decisions about like what actually belongs on this show and what's worth the time. I still like going back and watching the really old Raws from the early years when they were 1 hour and it felt like a complete show. It's not like you got like a match and a promo and it was already over. Like it felt like a whole ass show, but 3 hours is just too long for a weekly show.
Yeah, I agree.
About 2 hours and 10-ish minutes.
Yeah, let's talk about 2 hours and 10-ish minutes. I'm just gonna start off with this. I am not happy with AEW.
Okay.
For
Sucks to be you, nerd.
I know. So, well, actually, that's a lie. I'm just upset with this episode because.
Ooh, yeah, like what specifically? Because
I feel they fumbled the bag on having Orange Cassidy beat Trent Beretta. I felt like they should have went no DQ here, and went that route instead of Orange actually winning.
Okay. Why?
Because I it doesn't make Trent look any better that he still lost. Like, and he still beat him up afterwards. So it's like, why wouldn't you just do that now? And then like, there's no winner, no contest, something of that nature.
To me,
I feel
this
like it
is
just didn't help Trent.
well, to me, this is the classic. I can't remember who we were talking about last week, Austin. We talked about it's a 50-50 book the shit out of that, right? It's kind of this. Diana and Thunder Rosa, right? It's kind of the same thing, right? They're stringing this along because they're going to keep stringing it along. They're going to keep teasing the Don Callis thing. You have Orange win. You're going to have this again probably, and Trent's going to win. And then you'll have we got to have the rubber match bullshit, right? I didn't read it like that. I didn't really care who won, to be honest with you, because I knew it wasn't the end of the story.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I had no issue with Orange Cassidy winning. Like, I would love to see Trent win and get a push. It's probably not going to happen. Like, Trent's been around there long enough that, like, we know kind of what he is there, which very good spot. They throw him out there against everyone when they need to. I don't know where the story goes with Trent winning here. That's not just Orange Cassidy just comes back and beats him later, and you have some points in between. This just seemed like a continuation of whatever's going on with Don Callis and Orange Cassidy. And I thought this was a good like next step in that story.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good next step. Just I felt like they should have no contested it or
okay.
DQ. Like Orange wins via DQ because no pins.
Well,
no
Orange
nothing.
did win via dubious means, because
But
Trent
still,
took off
there's a
the
roll up and there was a clear victor.
But he also, Trent took off the turnbuckle, and Orange, when the ref saw, took off the other turnbuckle, and of course used that turnbuckle on Trent. So it was a little bit of a dubious means there, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I didn't want it because I want Trent to get
Okay.
a push.
Well,
Because I love Orange,
feel like
I
they
want Trent to get a push.
well, let me ask you this, because let's ask you both this here, because I feel like they might be doing something. They even hinted at that when later on they had the backstage promo with Rocky Romero talking about his match that he had later on in the night, right? And he said, if I beat Jay White, you and me, and we can find someone else, we'll get a trio style. We can pull, I don't know, maybe we can mend the fence with Trent and bring him back. Oh, so he's kind of like throwing that up there. And you got Chris Statlander, who, I don't know, something rubs me raw. I feel like Trent and everybody else is going to be dumping Orange. Or Orange will push Orange into the Don Callis family angle bit. And then Trent can kind of lead his best friends as under his wing, maybe. Maybe I'm overbooking it. I don't know.
Well, like that's what makes it a cool story, though, because it could go many different ways, and like that's something that actually makes you want to tune in and see where they're going with this instead of, oh, okay, like bad guy cheated to win this time, good guy comes back, beats him later. We've seen that a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought this was just a good continuation of that story, and like it didn't really matter who won one way or the other. Because, yeah, this wasn't like a blow off. This is still just kind of heating up.
All right, gentlemen, I'm just going to ask you just point blank. How are you feeling about the Elite right now?
I love this.
Same as I have been for weeks, man.
I know, it hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten more. I'm loving it.
It's like you're taking chocolate cake, and you just keep adding another layer of frosting, another layer of chocolate cake, another layer of frosting, another layer. Basically, we got chocolate lasagna now, and they just keep adding layers to it. It's like, yes, please give me more of that. Fuck yes.
I'm actually going to change my answer. I like them even more now that Jungle Man Jack Perry is with them, because that Jack Perry promo was phenomenal.
Jack Perry gone to Japan and learned how to do promo stuffs.
Jack Perry survived the real glass, and he is a man now. Like, yeah, he's a jungle man. He left a boy and came back a man. And
Jungle Man.
My goodness, gentlemen, like this is ridiculous. Like where they are right now and how they're doing these things is just very NWO-esque. I will definitely say that. Like, I get NWO vibes really hard, but that's not a bad thing, as obviously I'm rocking my FWO shirt, you know, the people who run this place, at least at pay-per-views. But anyway, these guys, the whole Kenny Omega thing, I liked how they did that last time, and they of course shot it when Kenny is, you know, getting surgery or whatever, but he was able to announce that they are going to be having a match at Double or Nothing.
The Elite versus
AEW.
Team AEW. I mean, talk about on the nose when you talk about the NWO angle.
Exactly.
I mean,
Next thing that's gonna be called Sold Out.
should.
The Elite brings Sold Out. Presented by the Elite.
Resold out.
Resold out. Oh yeah. We sold out. Oh, even better. We sold out.
No, it should be like the sold out logo, and then above sold out in very small print is we, and underneath is Wembley Stadium.
Even better.
Of course,
So
we're
you
gonna
got-
book ourselves on the pape. Yeah.
So Anarchy in the Arena. So love it too, because again, you don't have to have every belt up at every pay-per-view when you're doing this many of them, right? So take your tag titles and your, you know, Continental, is that the one that whichever one Okada has? Continental.
no.
Continental. Okay. Too many titles. Wrap them up here. Anarchy in the Arena versus FTR and two people to be named later.
Bushwhackers.
Oh, dude, that'd be amazing. But yeah, the
I
one's
love
dead.
the Bushwhackers.
One
I think
dead
one of
now.
them's dead now, though.
Cross
Maybe Rock
him
and Roll
off
Express,
then.
they're still wrestling, right?
Axe and Smash.
I would love that.
A little demolition action.
Be down for some demolition.
I loved Demolition so
But
much.
let's give me Team AEW. So you got to think about this for just a sec.
Yeah. So when it was announced, okay, I honestly had no idea. I didn't even like try and put two and two together because, you know, they're not going to have Hangers. Hanger's not back yet. You got Swerve tied up in, you know, his stuff going on here. It's going to be face people, so you're not going to have Samoa Joe out there, although that would have been awesome. I wasn't surprised when they announced it at the end of the show, but then again, I also didn't really think about it too much.
I think Hanger is one of them.
They announced it at the end of the show, Jamie.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did you miss that? Yeah,
I
Jamie
sure did.
Jamie was coming home. Okay.
We'll circle to once we get to the end of the show.
We'll put a
we
pin
can
in that.
touch back
And
on
who do
that.
you so who do you think it's going to be? Don't look it up. Don't you look it up on the internet right now. Close that internet.
Oh, I kind of have to have it up.
Yeah.
So
you
I
thinking Hanger?
at first I thought, okay, it's probably gonna be who they had problems with. So Pac was
Okay.
gonna be one of them, and then I was probably gonna go. I was hoping it'd be Hanger, but you know that's been destroyed.
Okay. Lucha Brothers would be a good one too to have in there because that.
Yeah, but
so.
they haven't really had too much. Like I don't know.
That's
I
one
don't
of
know.
those
Definitely
staples you
Pac though. Like Pac, I think Pac's
Okay.
like with
All
a
right.
silver bullet.
Well, we're
That's the
gonna put
guy.
that pin there. We're gonna see if Jamie's predictions are correct.
Maybe Eddie Kingston, because you know why not?
Just, here. And Eddie.
And Eddie.
Eddie Kingston is never the wrong answer for any match. Like, yeah, and Eddie Kingston, because why not?
Yes. Yeah. So this show did not have a whole lot of actual wrestling going on tonight.
It did have 5 matches eventually.
Eventually.
The first half of the show was very light on first hour and 20 almost was light on matches.
Yeah. Then
Very
they kind of burned through some matches, but like you had Serena, Deeb, and the timeless one, Toni Storm.
Okay.
It's so good.
That part was good. Serena's promo was way too slow and drawn out.
Well,
The
she's
crowd
not good
was
at it. She's
not
a
into
wrestler.
it.
She's Dean Malenko, dude. She can't talk. She can just wrestle.
she's nailing it because it's absolutely. I'm gonna put this out here as well. I was a big fan of them trying some different things. I like the kind of reverse angle. I don't like the reverse interview angle because the crowd was obviously not into that promo. Do that promo in the ring or on the ramp, regular, facing the crowd.
Yeah, the angle of it, like I don't think it landed like you would hope it would. But I, like you said, I like them trying different things. The crowd was into it at parts. It's just the same problem you keep having with Toni Storm is everyone just wants to really like Toni Storm, and it makes them less interested in the other half.
So they tried to make Toni heel, and they tried to make Serena heel in the middle of this promo, and neither of them came across as face or heel.
But Serena coming out and talking about spending the last year recovering from 3 seizures and fighting for her life, and Toni with the long drawn out, I do not give a single shit about that.
Perfect.
She is just doing all-time great character work right now.
Lord,
and
man.
Somehow she's managed to keep this character from just becoming only silly and like kind of a meme of itself. Just hats off to Toni Storm. Just she's so good right now.
Like amazingly good. Like it's scary how good she is right now.
And the way she bumped and sold that punch from Serena.
Oh, that was
just
so.
died on
That's
the ring.
so.
Just died. Straight died.
It was exactly how you would expect this character to take that punch and hit the ground. And that is such a small detail that you don't see from a lot of people. It was just I am a fan of excellence in any endeavor, and Toni Storm is just pissed in excellence right now.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, the art of selling is something that is wildly overlooked by a lot of younger talent. And I think that especially the younger female talent can definitely learn of it. Some of them have been picking up on it a little bit more lately, right? You know? But if you look at on the AEW roster, Toni Storm, Ruby Soho, hey Ruby, right? You know, even to some extent Saraya, you know, some of these women who have been long-term in WWE for a long time, right? They know how to sell moves. They can sell the shit out of stuff, right? And, you know, there's women, Willow does a great job of it too, right? But I feel like some of these other women could definitely pick up some pointers because that alone just was, we spent 3 minutes talking about one punch sell because it was that good.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that, like, if the match is good and you like the people in it, you don't get really bothered when the selling isn't great.
Yeah.
But when it is like you were saying earlier, just extra layers of that chocolate cake that's becoming a chocolate lasagna, just more good on top of good.
Like, Jamie, how about Rock's sells of the Stunners?
Only second to Scott Hall. Only second to Scott Hall. I'll fight anybody on that. Like, Scott Hall's selling of the Stunner is second to none.
Rocks are more memeable. I'll put it that way.
I don't know, dude. Like, every time, like, he's shot out of a goddamn cannon.
The fact that you never saw Scott Hall bump like that for anything else in his entire career.
No.
Oh.
Not even
why-
Shawn
that's
Michaels,
why
who he
he
had his
called
best
out.
matches against.
So after this, let's just go right into it. The minion of one Toni Storm, Mariah May, did have a match against Harley Cameron. Yeah, Mariah looked great. Like, Mariah got the win, and then
Mariah looked
after,
great.
I mean, it's
Saraya, and this is what Saraya should be doing, and she's good at. She's not wrestling, but she is giving you gold. Like, anytime the mic was near her on the outside, you just picked up fantastic. The way she grills the crowd, telling the cameraman to follow. You're gonna be hard cam on, focus on me, so you need something pretty to look at. You know, just she is just such a good character, right? as long as she's not wrestling.
Yeah,
Don't ever-
and even if she is going to step in there and wrestle every once in a while, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The problem with Saraya was making her like part of the main event story as an in-ring competitor.
Yes.
When this is such a better use of her talents.
Right. Because this is probably, I mean, if you just threw Holly Cameron out there, nobody would have given a shit about that at all.
Yeah.
But
Like we knew Mariah May was going to win.
yeah, but the psychotic, companion of Saraya, cool, even better.
Yeah. Well, they started attacking Mariah afterwards, and then Mariah is saved yet again by Stardom's Mina Shirakawa. And they celebrated with drinks, almost kissed, and all the things.
For
that
a
they
second,
did in
I thought
Stardom.
we might get Thekla for just a split.
Oh
second.
no, she's doing amazing work right now
She
over in
is.
Japan. But I don't know
Mina's
if you
part
saw
of that.
this on Collision. AZM was there.
I did see that.
Oh
We're gonna see
my
Thekla
god,
in
she is
AEW.
so damn good.
We will see Thekla in AEW before there's snow on the ground. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I want her to wrestle in Ring of Honor against one Heidi Howitzer.
Tony Khan needs to just sign everyone from Stardom he can.
Just bring them all over. Yeah.
Just bring them all over.
Well, the writing's on the wall that they're going to be at Forbidden Door, man. Like,
100%.
give me that. Give me Thekla versus Toni. Like I would pay double the price for that thing, or her against Surrey. Like whatever.
I mean, if we had
Yes.
Jamie Hayter, you want her versus Hayter because, but
Well, they got history.
exactly. I
Bring
mean,
back that
AZM has
Stardom.
been over, but yeah. So, and Mina she keeps pairing up more and more. So,
So what do you feel about the tease speaking of Pac, the tease of him maybe bringing back the Death Triangle? I feel like it's already foregone. Yeah.
it's unfortunately as much kind of consternation as we've had with the women's division, the trios division is really where the lack of thinking goes in AEW.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jay White.
I don't want to see Death Triangle come back because it would only be because they have nothing else for the trios champs to do.
Yeah.
And I want to see Pac have a singles run for a while.
I think Bullet Club Gold's good enough to just have them. You basically did this with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, right? It just didn't matter who you threw out there. Occasionally they defended against somebody, right? It was more about them. The trios was highlighting those three people. You do the same thing with Bullet Club Gold. That's kind of what they're doing with it now. Cool, fine.
I like the trios division. I think I mentioned this at some point in the past on the show. I would like to be the trios division, a place where you sometimes just throw together three guys that kind of have nothing else going on, because you have so much talent and only so much time. Like, it's a nice story, and trios is a little bit different from tag team wrestling. Like, I don't like when they just throw two singles guys together to now become your tag champs. Trios is a little different. I think you can put three solid upper mid card singles guys together for a run at those belts, and then just kind of cycle them around over time.
Yeah, sure.
Couldn't agree
I'm
more.
sold on that. I'm not going to say anything else. Well, they plowed through the promos of this part of the show, though. It's
Oh,
promo,
yes, they
promo.
did.
God.
I mean, Swerve. Yes, that's all there is to it. Swerve's promo.
Yeah. Well, what about did you see the Change the World commercial they did before Swerve's promo?
Oh yeah. How they're the good guys.
That was gold. I loved that.
Again. Like another check mark on why I love the Elite right now. And the moment that they like drop a new shirt, I might be a player.
Even if
Just
it's
wait.
black.
Well, I'm hoping it's not gonna be black. Hopefully, be like because here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but the Rainmaker doesn't like black T-shirts. That's why most of
Really?
his aren't black.
That's
I
why
don't know
he
if you
has
ever
so many
noticed that
white
most of his
shirts.
aren't black. Yeah.
Interesting.
little note there.
So Swerve, yeah.
But yeah, so Swerve going back and forth with Christian and saying that he wants to fight him right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wants to do to him what Kendrick Lamar did to Drake. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, I'm gonna beat that fake father's ass. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Yes. Yes.
Be the second time this week somebody from the West Coast beat somebody from Ontario's fake dad's ass, or
Yeah, Swerve.
Oh.
They found the perfect balance. I say they. It's pretty much all him, but he's found the perfect balance of being that babyface champion without losing his edge that kind of got him there.
Yep.
And he's just doing phenomenal work right now.
And they did like we suspected. They did the cleanup work of clarifying alliances tonight as well.
Yeah, I thought this whole segment was a necessary point in the story. I don't know if it was like the most entertaining thing they could have done with Swerve, but you needed to finally like set him out on his own. I think once Moguel Embassy hit the ring, everybody with eyes and a functioning brain saw what was coming, but I'm glad that they addressed that. They resolved that and are going to keep moving on from there instead of just having this weird thing for the last few months. Kind of like they were doing with the Ospreay and the Callis family, where like, bro, you're not part of that really anymore. Just pull the Band-Aid off. Let's move on. And we'll probably get Swerve and Brian Cage next week on Dynamite. Because that's how pro wrestling works.
Yeah.
That is how pro wrestling
I mean,
works.
Brian Cage looked like he was waiting for his cue the second he hit the ring. He's like half like ready to jump on him the whole time. Like at least angle yourself away from the dude for a minute. Come on, bro. So they beat the hell. What did you guys think of Don Callis on commentary all night? And how much more do you want him on commentary than Taz? Because I definitely do.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't dislike Taz on commentary, and I think he's kind of become like a staple of the AEW commentary team in a very good way.
They have 3 shows.
But I don't think there's many people in this business that can touch Don Callis on commentary. I was thinking about this earlier tonight during the show. Don Callis reminds me of that late 80s, early 90s Jesse Ventura on commentary, where he's a heel commentator, but he isn't so on the nose about it all the time. And he tries to come up with actual clever justifications for things. And he's just so damn good with a microphone.
So Don Callis on commentary, like you're asking, like, how happy were you? It's like, how happy would you be, if God touched your shoulder? How happy would you be? I mean, how happy would you be if you had just boobs in your face right now? Like, I'd be elated.
I'd be very happy.
Like, it'd be hard to podcast in that situation.
I could do it.
Yeah, not on the
I could do
podcast.
it.
But I'm just saying, not YouTube boobs, but you know what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, like, of course I want that.
Yeah.
And Don Callis is a freaking magician on the mic. And
I felt his chemistry was actually really good with Toni, right? Because sometimes you get like, and I think, oh my God, the banter was amazing, right? And I think that you could take Taz, you can move him around. You got 3 shows, right? Well, I think you make Don Callis a commentary member somehow because it's too good to pass up on.
But he needs his family right now. Like, he is our Vin Diesel.
Because family.
So after this, you had Willow Nightingale, of course, talking up her and Mercedes Moné at the end of the month. That was fine. I mean, I love Willow, so you never hear me say a bad thing about Willow. Jay White and Rocky Romero. What'd you guys think of this? It was not very long, to your point, because they kind of fired through it, but it was a solid match.
It was good. It got about the same amount of time as a little bit more time than the next match because it went through a commercial break, I believe.
yeah,
Jay White and Rocky Romero. I knew it was going to be a good match, and it was. Jay White won, of course, but Rocky has some. Rocky has always ever been outside of Japan. Anything in America, he's always been that kind of appreciated talent, right? You know, he was in
I love him
Impact.
in
He
Japan.
same thing, you know, but he's excellent. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and kind of going back to earlier in the show, I really like that we had the little promo with Rocky and Orange Cassidy about if I beat Jay White, I get a trio shot. We can find a partner. That gave you that little sliver of doubt that maybe Rocky Romero wins this. Probably not clean, but like something could happen. And it was a nice little way to add to your show in a match that you were pretty sure Jay White was going to win, but they gave you that little wrinkle to where, okay, let's find out. Yeah, I would like to see them with more time, but I would like to see either of those guys with anybody get plenty of time because they're two phenomenal wrestlers. But yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah. Well, after that, you had Joe's promo. I'm what these men fear in the first place.
I mean, he's not even shooting at anybody in particular, and that's the beauty of Samoa
He's
Joe.
just shooting.
It's just great.
I think post championship run, this is the perfect thing for Joe. He's just Jaws now. Like you don't know when he's popping up, but you better not be in the damn water when he
Ooh.
does.
Ooh, good point.
Good analogy. I like it.
All right. So here we go. Here we go, gentlemen. FTW champion Chris Jericho and Large William defeated Mo Jabari and Harlan Abbott. Harlan Abbott.
I have logo talent written down. I didn't even
Yeah, I
get a
actually got
chance
their
to-
name. But I mean, Large William's looking good. Did you see that sign that said Large William? Anybody
I
else see that
absolutely
sign?
saw the Large William
Okay.
sign.
I didn't
Okay.
notice it. That's
And
awesome.
then they made a reference about his library name. Excalibur did a passing. Well, it's proper to use somebody's library name. I think Big Bill stick by my guns for the last 2 weeks. This is beneficial for Big Bill. Even afterwards, when they won, Jericho came out and started thanking everybody under the sun. Just the complete abject. He even said Calgary instead of Edmonton and corrected himself to get that cheap heat, right? You know. If he's going to be forced down your throat, this is the best way to do it. I like it. It's good for Bill.
Good follow-up from last week. For the first time in a very long time, I'm starting to see a little bit of the Chris Jericho that everybody used to like again.
Yes.
And there's no way this was planned, but at least he finally figured out something that works for him in 2024. The delusional guy that is just going to ignore all the boos and thank everybody and just act like he's everyone's favorite. It works for Jericho. It is classic Jericho.
It is Jericho.
And then with Big Bill as the heater behind him, like this is the best we could have hoped for having Chris Jericho. And like it's not even last week was you're going to get Jericho anyway. It might as well be something that's not terrible. I think this week was another step towards this was a good part of the show. Like this was an enjoyable use of the 10-15 he was out there.
So, gentlemen, I have been shitting on Chris Jericho for what?
Months.
8 weeks? 8 weeks straight?
Probably longer, but we'll go with 8.
Yeah.
Like 8 months, maybe.
That's fair.
It's
Like,
been months.
the last
I feel like-
Olympics.
Yes, it's last one. Well, I am here to say
Are we turned the corner?
I don't hate him as bad now. Now that's where I'm at right now. This was not terrible. This gave me glimpses of WCW, Chris Jericho, like we talked about last week, saying if this is what it's going to be, and I didn't want to believe it at the time. I was being very much a hard ass about it, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Like I finally opened the eyes, and
Man who
this
opens a
could
poll
be
asking if I should be committed.
like. I'm scared. Like I'm scared, guys. Like, is he gonna screw me over like he's done so many times before in AEW,
Eventually he
or is
will,
this
yeah.
finally what I want out of him. Hoping it's what I want.
Well, we'll take baby steps. I'll take baby steps on it.
I'm optimistic.
Him too.
He's one of the greatest of all time for a reason. Like, I don't think he had lost it. I just think he hadn't figured out. I think, honestly, the biggest problem is Judas. Once the crowd started singing his damn song, and they were going to do that every time, no effort went into doing anything entertaining beyond there. It was just whatever Chris Jericho was going to do.
Yeah.
He's finally brought it back around, and he's having to go back to what he used to do, which was entertaining as all get out. So yeah, I'm optimistic about this. I think he's turned it around.
I hope so. God, I hope so. Because not entertaining was right after that, the Mercedes Moné promo.
Well, no, there was a match in between those.
Was there? Oh,
there was the main event.
Pretty long one.
Yeah,
a good the show or whatever.
Let's get rid of the Mercedes. So yeah, first of all, the main event we'll talk about in a second here. They had a Mercedes.
Sorry,
Moné.
I want to put a pin in that. I want to get to this and just knock it out.
Mercedes Moné promo happened. She's kind of being a heel, but they're not. It's just it is what it is. Her first match is going to be in 18 days, thankfully, and maybe after that we can talk about her actually being a contributing part of this roster. Until then, whatever.
But she's winning the belt.
She's gonna win.
I think we all know
she's gonna win.
Right?
That's fine. It just
sucks for Willow, man.
I know.
Yeah, like this is one of those, and it's very rare in AEW. It happens all the time in WWE, which is why their weekly TV and their stories they tell usually are wanting. You see the writing on the wall, you see it coming, and you just want to like text Tony Khan and say, please don't.
Yes.
Don't pull the trigger on this. Let Willow beat her. That is so much more of an interesting story. And you did the debut in Boston, and it was a big pop. But who's really super into Mercedes Moné at this point?
She hasn't wrestled. She is coming here and giving lackluster promos since then. So nobody really.
And it's okay. And she wrestles Willow and she wins the title. She's still going to have to do some character work and promos after that. They're not going to be good. For some reason, she has to take a pause in between every syllable when she talks. Like you can make a star by having Willow beat Mercedes clean.
You can make a star and you can make a villain too.
Yeah.
And if you have her beat her, that snaps Mercedes and she goes full heel Mercedes. Jamie's been literally begging for it. Right?
That's the best version of her.
Yeah. You make a star and you make a villain all in the same strap. And then you can give her the belt at All In or All Out or win it.
Yeah.
Or you can elevate her up to face Toni Storm. I'm just saying.
Good luck. No, because we want Hater and Toni.
We do. We still have no idea when Hater's coming back.
June. I'm just throwing it out there.
All right, main event.
All right. Can we talk about this main event now? Are we ready for the main event?
Let's go.
Okay. So you had Adam Copeland versus Brody King in a no disqualification match. And seeing Brody with blood all over his face, just laughing maniacally, like, is what's right in this world.
I mean, everything Brody did in this match is what's right in this world. I love Brody King so much.
Yeah.
This match is my proof behind that.
Yeah, I don't even have much to say about this. This was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Spots galore, violence, tables, chairs, barricades, what?
I said, oh my.
Oh my. I mean, it was just great. Copeland looked fantastic. The two played off each other very well. It's fantastic.
So Adam Copeland, he deserves his flowers right now. Because we talked about it when he faced a luchador, and now he's facing a big guy, and he's faced all these different styles, and dude is truly a chameleon. He is able to change his style on the fly and be able to wrestle at an incredibly high level with anybody. Now, that in itself is amazing, but the fact that he also did it in the Fed and never got the recognition he deserved in the Fed, like now that I'm looking back on it, like I had a moment to reflect on my 55-minute drive home. But this right here is Adam Edge Radar Superstar Copeland's legacy. Like,
absolutely,
he is an amazing wrestler.
That's what he wanted to come do. He wanted to come to AEW to do this, So
I gotta disagree with you a little bit there. I think if you didn't give him his flowers from his time in the Fed, you weren't watching hard enough. Because going back to, he wrestled a luchador, he wrestled a big guy, he wrestled, all these different guys, had great matches. But if you look back at his career in the Fed, awesome matches with Rey Mysterio, awesome matches with John Cena, awesome matches with The Undertaker. Like, he could always go with everybody. And it's dope to see him get to do that with a whole new crop of guys. But yeah, I do think that's low-key been one of the things that kept him relevant at the top of the card for a decade plus, was that he knew how to have not even just a good match, but a great match with anybody.
Yeah. Some people forget about it because it's been so long.
Yeah, he did take a decade off there in the middle.
Like me. I'm like, damn, that guy's amazing.
Like, he did do that, yeah. And a live sex celebration.
That's the thing they did once.
Yeah. He did do that.
All right, so final thing that happened, I'll talk about this since you were driving, Jamie. So the leak comes out to end the show saying they texted if you're going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes every single week, just be 2 hours and 10 minutes. Put it on the freaking, schedule, on your TV schedule, whatever. This old school WCW era, we got permission to run over. It's like, whatever. Okay. If it happens every week, it's not special. There's my rant. But the leak come out, they got the permission to keep running over. Okada then gets in the ring and takes the mic and says, "The Best Bout Machine wants to tell you, Kenny, get well soon." They then let everybody know that they renamed the Meltzer driver to the Tony Khan driver now. If you missed that, that's
so great.
And the reason they did it, they had to do it because it's for AEW, right? They needed to keep in check, all the stuff because of what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Out comes FTR. They're like, good luck trying to find two people to even want to be on a team with you. And they're like, yeah, we don't have the most friends around here, but you guys got more enemies than we have friends. So we found a couple guys come out. Enter Eddie Kingston. You're halfway right, Jamie.
Hey, I knew it. Just throw Eddie in there. He's down to fight anybody.
Eddie
Don't
Kingston,
matter.
And he's got he did lose the belt to Okada, so but it fits. And then
Wait. Before you say it, Jamie, one guess. Who's the fourth? Right down the spot.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, if it's Eddie, it's got to be Brian because they've been like bosom buddies lately.
Bryan Danielson.
Yep. Let's go.
You didn't even have to put on the Mark Stradamus hat for that
You
one.
didn't need it, really, because it's like, of course it's going to be those two. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, like as soon as I was like, you said Eddie, I was like, okay, then it's probably Brian.
Yeah, logically. So, and Bryan Danielson's cleared to wrestle. Like we said, the whole thing with Ospreay, the injury angle was a work, whatever. But he's wrestling on Saturday. He's going to be wrestling next week in Washington. Naturally, you don't not have him on a Washington show if you want to sell some tickets. So, yep. Anarchy in the Arena. The Elite versus FTR, Eddie and Bryan Danielson.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean,
I wanna
I'm all in on any Anarchy in Arena they do. Like they do those kind of matches better than anybody.
I just want to see Eddie bloody tank top with a can of gas again.
Real quick sidetrack on that. Did y'all see Effie recreate that over the weekend?
No.
When he wanted to set Mance Warner on fire.
Oh,
it's
yes, I did
wonderful.
see that on GCW. Yes.
Oh, I missed
I
that.
love Effie, man.
Oh, Effie's the best. God bless Effie.
Effie is the best.
I'd love to have him on the show, but he's too big for us.
He actually costs quite a bit. for
He ain't cheap. He ain't cheap.
He expensive. He ain't cheap. All right. So we're about a little over 2 weeks away from Double or Nothing. Now we got Anarchy Arena.
Card
pretty much taking shape. There's probably gonna be a few other little things. There'll be a trio something or another on there.
Do you think this is where Hanger comes back and makes his decision on which team he's on?
No.
Not either.
Don't think so. Because I think you're more likely to get Jamie Hayter return potentially.
Yes.
I think you're going to have at least one big reveal return of somebody, though. It's Double or Nothing. They made way too big a bill about being the 5-year anniversary of the start of, Double. There's going to be something big happening at the show.
I hope they bring back the Casino Battle Royal.
Ooh.
I'd like to see that make a return. I think that might be a good chance to bring Hanger back in. I don't see him jumping into that Elite storyline right there on the spot. I could see right after Double or Nothing, the Elite bringing heel Hanger back in as the next thing they're going to throw at Swerve while we kill the next couple months till All In. And we're going to get Swerve and Ospreay because that's written on the wall. That's got to happen. But yeah, I don't think Hanger gets involved in Anarchy in the Arena in any way.
Yeah.
I would love it, but yeah.
Especially when you figure in you've got Danielson and Eddie, right?
Yeah.
Hanger doesn't really coalesce on that side of the fence.
I don't want to see. I want to see more of the Hanger that just left. Like I want to see heel losing his mind because he couldn't beat Swerve. I want to see more of that.
Delusional millennial.
Yeah.
Hanger.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to be done with that character before you really shove him into this ever-evolving, soon-to-be NWO versus WCW storyline.
What if you have Hanger back, but Hanger goes after Swerve after Swerve defends his title?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. I could see if you are going to work him in with the Elite, the next Dynamite after Double or Nothing, just like this one, they announced that Christian was going to be Swerve's challenger for Double or Nothing.
So they announced that Hanger's the next in line, even though he shouldn't be, because that's the only way.
Which would make sense for the story on many levels. Like, the Elite has history with Hanger. They used to be cool and stuff. They're all bad guys now. Swerve and Hanger have a history. That's a good thing to lead you up to whatever's next. That being said, the next pay-per-view is Forbidden Door, and I would like to see Swerve defending against someone not in the company, but I will never not pay $50 to see Swerve and Hangman wrestle again. So you really can't lose.
Jamie, what do you think?
Especially if they're drinking blood again. Like, that's all that matters.
You asked the question, Jamie. What are your predictions? What do you think? We got a couple weeks here. We're not writing these down or anything, but
I honestly don't see a whole lot happening at the pay-per-view. I think the Wednesday after is when you start seeing the thing. So I think Jamie Hayter will come back in June. I think that sounds like a viable option there. And then hopefully by All In, Omega might be okay. Like I know he's getting some of his intestine removed and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that might not be a thing.
Maybe. I mean, 3 months is probably the minimum time it would take if he's having the surgery like right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Or he's already had it. But then don't forget about our savior that could come in and save AEW, Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman.
I don't think he's back anytime
He's
soon.
not anytime soon. He's at shoulder surgery.
No, I'm talking about All In. He's coming back All In because that's going to be, I think, at the peak of the eliteness going on.
I don't know if he'll be ready by then. They were just talking a week or two ago about him possibly needing surgery and
On his
being
shoulder,
out.
which
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's never
Like-
shoulder surgery's never one surgery. It's always you gotta have at least two, right?
Yeah.
What do y'all think about this? At All In, assuming Kenny is ready to come back, Kenny and Hanger against the Bucks, but then Hanger turns on Kenny and joins the Elite.
Oh, like the reverse? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, technically that makes sense because Hanger was also suspended from the Elite, so I could see that. That'd be good.
He fakes being a babyface again for a little while, just long enough to turn on Kenny and choose his side.
But
There's so many
Kenny-
cool options with this.
Yeah, because you know though Tony wants to do Kenny Okada at Wembley
Yeah.
naturally. Why wouldn't you?
But I mean, you can also do that on any pay-per-view, and Wembley's going to sell out, and Wembley's going to sell a ton of buys anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not a bad option here.
I mean, you do have 2 pay-per-views in 2 weeks, so maybe Chicago. Just saying. Still don't like that, but that's another tale for another time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we've gone the gauntlet tonight here. Thank you for those sticking around to us. Thank you for Mike Reed over from Fountain City Pro from joining us for the first part of tonight's show. Again, if you haven't bought your tickets, you live in Kansas City, you're going to be around Kansas City this Friday evening, come join us at the Ball Event Center, Bombs Over Ball, the next Fountain City Pro show, 6 o'clock our doors, Central Standard Time. We'll be live before that. Jamie and I will. Hopefully we will get Austin to bring the belt, we'll wrangle it out of his hands and give it to the tyrant that is Jamie's daughter. But
We'll
we live here on our channel, also on Fountain City Pro's socials. So again, if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like while you're down there, little bell icon, let you know when we go live. And if we don't see you on Friday, we'll see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Total Spotfest, I got 3 words for you.
Not guessing anymore. I don't care.
See you Friday.
All right, guys. We'll see you Friday.
Peace.
Later.